I know, we're all so tired of talking about the virus. But this is a virus worth talking about. And you don't need a vaccination. And you don't need a mask. Hey, welcome back to the booth. This time I want to talk a little bit more about access to your virus synthesizer. What's awesome about it? What's problematic? Some tips, some tricks. I'm going to talk about interfacing with the virus, technical aspects of it, some secret features, and also address the problems with using the editing software that's available for it, and also celebrating the absolutely incredible sounds of the virus. I have uploaded quite a few other Access Virus videos, so you can look back into some of the other videos on my YouTube channel for more information. Virus synthesizers are so awesome. Their whole line of synths is recognized as like a Cadillac, the Rolls Royce. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Some of it is the sound, but also the build quality. The components they use, the fabricating, it is bulletproof. The thing is really rock solid. I've had some other synths that I just loved, like I had a Waldorf Blofeld, I had a Waldorf Microwave XT. Excellent sounding synths, really powerful, really cool features. But both of those synths were plagued by bad quality rotary encoders. A lot of times after a short amount of time on a Blofeld, you've done some editing and the encoders stop working properly. These virus synths, man, you hear very few endemic problems like that. They're a really diverse synth. They cover so many different sounds. That's why you have everybody from Madonna, Stevie Wonder, using the same synths as Nine Inch Nails and Tool and Massive Attack and Radiohead, Michael Jackson, Depeche Mode. A lot of different types of artists are using this same synthesizer. So what makes it so powerful? Well, yeah, it's got great sounding filters and oscillators, but its modulation capabilities are really strong. You've got 38 different sources for modulation, and you can modulate virtually anything with those. I think there are 120 different modulation destinations. That's really powerful. And you can multi-modulate things. You can have different parameters modulating other parameters, which are modulating other parameters. So it can get really deep and really complex. The downside of that is it makes it a little more difficult for programming. Even though you got a lot of knobs on the front panel, there's still a lot to the synth. So to be able to really make the most of it, you need to use a software editor, like an on-screen editor. And this has been a problem. Here's something to keep in mind. You want to create an arpeggiator, you can't do it on the virus synth. You have to use software. Another thing, on the virus synths, there are two ADSRs, or envelopes, attack, decay, sustain, release. One of them is for filter, one is for amplitude. But on the editing software, there's actually two extra envelopes. You can use these two envelopes as modulation sources to control all sorts of different things. So it's incredibly powerful, but it's programming that can't be done from the hardware itself. A bunch of years ago, Virus came out with their own software editor. It's called Virus Control. The idea is it's a free piece of software. You put it on your computer, you hook up your virus synthesizer, and you can go in and see all the parameters on screen. So you can go in, do some really extensive programming, and you've got a patch librarian. Let's take a look at what the virus editing software looks like, and also what the Mystery Islands music software looks like. You see at the top there are a bunch of different pages. There's oscillator, filter, LFO, modulation matrix, arpeggiator, effects, etc. Here's the patch browser. On the patch browser, you can load banks from your virus synth, you can load them from your hard drive, you can move them around bank by bank or patch by patch. There's the oscillator page, the filter page, LFO. Here's the modulation matrix. Now, you see here, you can see all of your modulation sources at one time. You pick the one that you want, and then you go to your destination. Now, as I said, there are 120 modulation destinations. So it's a long list, and here it is, very easy to see where they all are. They're all arranged alphabetically. Here's the arpeggiator section. Once you play with this, you get to understand exactly how it works. It's pretty simple. You can go in and you can pick note durations and velocities and pitches and all of that sort of stuff. So as you see, it's pretty simple to get in there, see what you're doing, change things quickly. You get good feedback of everything that you're doing on your laptop. The virus synth I have is the TI Mark I. It's a desktop unit. I can have thousands of sounds in the synth at the same time. So you want to be able to get to them easily. I'm going to show you some tricks for that. But you need a software editor so that you can organize them into banks, that you're doing a live gig. You want to be able to go bang, 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 one song to a next, one sound to a next, easy and powerful. Here's something else to keep in mind. There are a lot of great new hardware synths out there, but not everybody's a programmer. Virus has been making these synths since 1997. That means there are 25 years worth of patches out there. Some of them are free. You get them from the Virus website. Just download them. Some of them you have to buy, so you're going to pick the genre of music that you're into. Psytrance, ambient, synthwave, whatever you're into. There are patch banks specifically for that. You can pop hundreds of new sounds into your synth. You can't do that with any of these new synths. They just haven't been around long enough. Everything was great for a bunch of years there. You could go on, you could do all your programming on your laptop, then play those sounds out of your Virus. Then what happened is a few years ago, Access stopped supporting the line. So now, from everything that I've heard, they're not making any new synths. A few years ago now, the company Access Virus decided that they weren't going to update their virus control software so you could use it with the newer Mac software. As of the Mac OS Catalina, it doesn't work. Since then, Apple has done operating software upgrades to Big Sur, and more currently Monterey. Now, you can't do programming on screen, you can't do your patch library and stuff. It doesn't work. So a company from Finland came to the rescue, Mystery Islands Music. I did a whole video on their software, so you can check that out on my channel. They decided to do their version of editing software for the Virus line, as well as patch library and stuff, and make it so it worked with the newer Mac software. Awesome. $50. It even has some features and functionality that the Access Virus editing software didn't have. Now, by comparison, this is the Mystery Islands music software. Same sort of thing. You'll see some of these things are grayed out. What it is the parameters that you can access are based on which model of Access Virus synth you have. You tell the software which piece of hardware you have, whether it's a Virus A, Virus B, whatever it is, and it shows you which parameters are available. It's actually got different skins, so you can make this software look like an A, a B, a C, a TI, a Snow. One of the cool things for experimenting on the Virus is the random patch generator. You just hit a button, and it randomizes a bunch of parameters. You can determine how much randomization you get, so you can get way out there to sounds that you can't even play, but you can also do subtle changes. Mystery Islands Music went one step further. What they did is on their software, there are different areas, all the different modules of the editing. It could be the LFO, the effects, the envelopes. They can be locked. So when you use the random generator, those things never change. So if you got some sounds happening going, these are in my groove, these are sounds I'm going to be able to use in my project, but I want to experiment a bit, you just lock in the things that are really important to you and hit that random button over and over and over again, and you'll get a never-ending assortment of really cool variations without you having to go and program every parameter. You can see you can lock an oscillator, you can lock your filters. These are the things that keep something the same, and then when I hit that randomize button, you'll see everything else on this page will move, but the things that I've locked don't. Really innovative and something that you can't do on Access Virus's software. You see their patch browser is laid out exactly like the Access Virus control. I can drag and drop sounds from one bank to another, and move them within the same bank. It's all pretty quick and easy. Same thing, modulation matrix. You can see your sources and your destinations. You can program them into a positive or a negative value. Same thing you can do on the hardware. Anyway, just wanted to give you some insight there. The problem is the Mystery Islands music stuff is a bit buggy. I've had quite a few people contact me say, I'm having a problem, I can't get this working. I've seen things on forums online. People are like, my software, it's not speaking to the synth. And that's partially why I wanted to make this video. It's so frustrating that a company like Access has made these great synths, and there are people in countries all over the world that use them, and big touring acts, and all of a sudden they're not supporting their products anymore. If it were me, it's like, dude, Christoph Kemper or whatever the head of the company, sell it. Let somebody buy it and run with it. That happened with Waldorf. All the new Waldorf synths out of Berlin, it's not actually the same company that made them 20 years ago. Somebody else bought the name, bought a bunch of the technology, brought in their own techs, and brought the company up to speed, putting out new products. I wish Access would do that, just out of respect for their users. As far as the differences, Access Virus's own software called Virus Control, all you have to do is plug a USB cable into your computer and into the synth. Everything operated through that. If you don't know, it also allows you to use your TI synth as a multi-timbral synth playing 16 different sounds at a time. Each sound could be on its own MIDI channel, have its own effects, its own arpeggiators, all sorts of stuff. Very powerful. With the Mystery Islands music software, you have to plug in a MIDI cable. So I thought, I've got this old thing by M Audio, USB, MIDI in and out. I bought the Mystery Islands music software, plugged it in, didn't work. I found out I had to have a newer one. So I bought this one, a Roland UM1. Same thing, USB to MIDI in and out. Plugged it into my laptop, plugged it into my Virus synth, played around, took a while to get everything right, to get my Virus configured so that it could speak properly to the software, but it worked really well. The other day I thought I'm going to do some programming on my Virus and some patch library and stuff. Opened up the Mystery Islands music software, hooked my USB to MIDI cable up to my Virus synth. Nothing happened. Didn't work. So the first thing I did is went back and reloaded the driver from Roland. I installed that. Get that happening? Doesn't work. So now what the problem is this awesome little Roland cable, which is about 30 or 40 bucks, doesn't work with the newer operating software that I have on my laptop. I hate doing software updates on my laptop. I had a few programs that required that I upgrade my operating system. But now that I've done it, I can't use Mystery Islands music software. Really frustrating, right? But I'm a lucky guy. I've got an older MacBook Pro that I use for my DJ work. It's hot-rodded with like tons of RAM and a terabyte solid-state drive in it, and I usually only use it for DJing. But because it's older, I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to have to do. So I installed the Mystery Islands music software, got out the cable, plugged it in, still didn't work. At the end of the day, what I ended up doing is using my old MacBook Pro, and I had to go back to the Virus Control software. I was able to do all my patch library and stuff, a bunch of editing. But once again, now I'm having to use a separate computer, not the one that I have all my music on. Anybody out there that is operating a virus, you're probably in the same situation with me. You're in this hard place where you upgrade your synth and everything stops working, but the company itself, Access Virus, will not upgrade their software to work with the newer operating systems. Really frustrating. Anyway, I don't want to just sit here and bitch. Thanks so much for watching.